everyone, and welcome to day 6 of VEDA. Sorry again about yesterday's video, even though my cats, I'm sure, are pretty cute. That's not what I had planned for yesterday, but of course crazy stuff happens, so hopefully stuff like that won't happen too often. So today I'm going to talk about movies. So this is actually going to be in 2 parts. The first part is my approximate top 10 favorite movies. And I say approximate because it changes daily. And then the second part is going to be movies that are coming out this year that I'm excited for, or that look interesting. Now, these are really in no particular order, aside from number 1, which I will do last. First one I'm going to mention is Tremors. I actually first saw this movie when I was about 5. Which you're probably thinking, like, what? If you've seen this movie, you're probably thinking, that's crazy. How could you watch this 5-year-old? But I did. I saw, and it was one of my favorite movies ever. And it's a movie that me and my dad are kind of bonded over. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's about, like, it's kind of comedy horror. It's about these underground worm creatures that terrorize this small town in Nevada, and Kevin Bacon is in it, and it's partly cheesy but also amazing. So next I want to talk about Love Actually, and I know you're probably thinking, oh god, a chick flick, and originally I thought along those lines too, but it's actually very, very funny. There's a few lines that I was laughing at for like the rest of the movie. It was so hilarious, and it's clever funny as opposed to like gag funny or raunchy funny like some other movies or comedy movies. And there's a ton of people in it. The weirdest thing I always find watching this movie now is seeing the guy who plays Rick from The Walking Dead in it and speaking in a British accent. That's always amusing to me. Now we get into some of the nerdy stuff, like Galaxy Quest. It's got Tim Allen in it and Professor Snape. But no, it's this. I mean, again, this is like it's cheesy, it's goofy, but it's also awesome. I mean, again, if you somehow have never heard of it or never seen it, it's about a group of actors from a Star Trek-like television series that haven't done much since the show was cancelled because of, aside from like conventions and stuff. And then real aliens think that their TV show is real, and they come and ask them to help them fight another alien, and it's hilarious. Another really cool movie that I've felt has been a bit underrated, but it's still one of my favorites, is The Butterfly Effect. I mean, along with a lot of my friends when it first came out, were really skeptical about Ashton Kutcher being in a serious movie, but he did a really good job in it, I thought, and it was a really neat idea for a movie. Again, if you don't know what it's about, this guy, when he was a kid, he used to have all these blackouts, and then when he got and he would go to like a psychiatrist and have to write down like stuff that happened during his day, and then when he was older, he would read all these journals, and it would send his brain back in time to when he would have the blackouts, and then he ends up changing his life. And of course, I'm not explaining it nearly as this or any of these movies nearly as well as good as they are, but again, it's a really cool movie. And a more serious movie, and this was a fairly old one, I think. It's from 1999, is Broke Down Palace. It's about 2 girls who go on vacation in Asia, and then they meet up with this Australian guy, and he convinces them to go to Thailand with him, but he ends up using them as drug mules, and they don't know about it, so they end up getting arrested and put in jail in Thailand. And then it's very crazy stuff happens in there. Like, it's not a place you want to go to jail, especially for something you didn't even do. And then we have another classic movie of mine that I just love, and it's goofy and silly, but The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. It's another like goofy comedy horror thing, and about a psychic who can actually see ghosts, but he uses them to pull cons on people, and of course it's more complicated than that, but it's a fun movie. And fun fact, if you didn't know, it's also made by Peter Jackson, who made the Lord of the Rings movies. And speaking of the Lord of the Rings movies, we come to obviously my number one, which is, I'm kind of cheating because it's 3 movies, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Obviously hopefully I don't need to explain any of this, but love them so much. I mean, I read the books just before the movies came out, and through all of high school, that was everything. Everything was Lord of the Rings. Even in 2003, the day that Return of the King came out, me and a couple other friends actually skipped the second half of the day at school and went and saw the Return of the King at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That was really cool. And of course, I'm going to cheat even more and throw The Hobbit in there as well, because it was awesome too. And then that segues into part 2. That's movies that I'm looking forward to this year. Obviously, the part 2 of The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, is going to be amazing. Another one that I'm sure everybody's looking forward to is Catching Fire, the second Hunger Games movie. Also looking forward to Iron Man 3. Hopefully it's going to be better than the second one. First one was really good. Second one was okay. Most of these are sequels, actually. The second Star Trek movie, the Into Darkness. I was never really into Star Trek that much, but when I saw the first movie with my friends, I thought it was pretty cool, so hopefully this one is just as good. Another movie that looks interesting that I don't really know much about is World War Z. I think it's some zombie movie with Brad Pitt. I've seen a couple previews for it, but I'm not totally sure exactly what it's about and everything, but it looks interesting. And then another movie that just before I started filming this, I went on the computer to see if there are any other movies coming out this year that look interesting, and I found a trailer for this movie called The Purge, which it has Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey, who plays Cersei Lannister in Game of Thrones, in it, and it's about like the U.S. in like the future, like not too distant future, but they've become like sort of like almost a perfect society. Like there's like almost no job loss, there's very little crime, but it's all because one day of the year all crime is legal for one day, and like anything, you can do anything. And it focuses on this one family, and when the day that they call the purge happens, they turn on their security system, but then there's this guy outside who's being like chased by a bunch of people, and they want to kill him, and one of the kids in the family lets this guy in, and then the people who want to kill him end up coming to their house and saying, you better give him back to us or we're going to kill all of you, and it looks very creepy and really interesting. And I'd never even heard of it before. I just found it like 20 minutes ago. But it looks neat. But anyway, that's it for me today, so I guess I'll just say bye for now, and I will see you tomorrow.